After 3 decades in his present home, John is preparing for a new adventure. His home will soon be for sale. John has agreed to talk with us about the home and the neighborhood. Hi, John. Welcome.
Hey, Paul.
Your neighborhood is Cameron Park near downtown Raleigh. So let's talk first about the neighborhood. What can you tell us about it?
The wisest major decision of my life was to move to here in downtown and the Cameron Park neighborhood in particular. It's a beautiful old neighborhood built in the early 1900s. It's got all these big, beautiful trees and curved streets and many different style houses from that era. It's just a beautiful neighborhood. People walk in and just go, wow. You can walk just about everywhere. You really don't need a car. I've entertained the thought of not even having a car, to tell you the truth. All sorts of parks around. The neighborhood itself contains these miniature little parks, and then not too far away are bigger, more full-bodied parks like Pull-In Park, where they have a little train that runs around that kids and adults alike can get on and ride the train. They've got a carousel over there, which kids of all ages still seem to enjoy, and it's just laid out in quite a beautiful fashion. It's a very attractive urban park. Picnic shelters and all the usual things you'd expect. Nice little lake, beautiful. The city has also just recently embarked on a big project where it bought from the state of North Carolina, I think around 300 acres. The Dorothea Dix property is very close to downtown, and that's a very nice destination park. Easy view of downtown. And you'll be able to walk to that from this neighborhood. There's a lot of other things you can walk to from here. You can go, NC State University. There's all sorts of shopping. There's a big, beautiful grocery store. You got restaurants.
There's a lot of good stuff around the neighborhood, restaurants, grocery stores, that kind of stuff, and you really don't need a car.
No, everyone has one, but you don't have to have it.
The neighborhood is getting hooked up quickly to high-speed internet.
You've even got Google Fiber going right down the street. AT&T Fiber is competing, so they're in the neighborhood.
Well, how about life in the neighborhood itself? How's the community?
It tends to be an active neighborhood association. There's a neighborhood email list where you can subscribe to that if you want and see all the emails so you know what's going on. The neighborhood group can serve as a social organizer and planner for people in the neighborhood. It also provides feedback to the City of Raleigh government about issues that the neighborhood feels are important. The group organizes various social things such as holiday parties. There's a big end-of-year party. There's a 4th of July party that have parade around the park with fire trucks. There's other events all year long. There's a progressive dinner on a regular basis, a book club. There's all sorts of stuff to do.
The 4th of July thing is wonderful for kids. Fire department comes out and they do a little parade around the park where your house is located on the park.
Yep, I've seen them go by.
Fun place to live. We've just described the neighborhood and its great walkable location. What about the house itself? Your home was built in 1920, not long after the neighborhood was founded. So what is the home like?
Well, it's just a big old rambling home, I'd say. I couldn't even tell you what style it is. It's got a surprisingly large amount of storage for a house from that era. So you got plenty of closet space, attic space, a partial basement, and under the porch in the front, there's a additional, it's almost like an auxiliary basement. I used to keep all sorts of yard tools and some holiday stuff in there. So there's storage space galore, and I've used it all, and it's great for entertaining. We used to have all sorts of parties in the old days. The whole downstairs could just be filled up with people, and you can move around pretty easily. All the main rooms have 2 different ways to get in and out of them, so your friends don't get pinned in. So it was always great for entertaining. We had a lot of great memories from here in that respect.
You don't need a car if you don't want one, but if you do have a car, how's parking?
Parking is absolutely no problem, and we have an alley, as most of the homes in Cameron Park do. We have an alley in the back that services our block. That's where the trash trucks go up and down, and most of the utilities are routed up and down there. And we have parking on site here. Conveniently, there's 3 parking spaces with this house on that back access area. And you could squeeze in more if you really wanted. And also, of course, up front on the main city street, you can park out there, too. Easy to park in.
So the house, great for entertaining. It's got great flow. It's got lots of historic character. Well, there's one thing we have to bring up. Would it be fair to say that the house needs some work?
Well,
I knew I was going to ask that.
Yeah, it depends. It's pretty rough in some spots and not too bad in others. When I first bought it, which was a little over 30 years ago, my intention was to renovate the whole thing. And I did get started on it with gusto, I'd say, and I started on the upstairs portion. And it's in decent shape up here, I'd say. We've got central air upstairs and central heat, forced air system. Bathrooms is reasonable, and the bedrooms are all in decent shape, and the windows and everything else. So upstairs is pretty good, but then by the time I was ready to start downstairs, my company that I worked for all these years began to be a little bit unstable, and way back then I decided that maybe I needed to save more money and keep it in the bank than I did seeking it in the house. So I sort of stopped largely. So the first floor is in much more, I could say, rough shape. It roughly at the original condition it was in when I bought it 30 years ago. So there's a lot of opportunity for renovation work, but the bones are still in place. I think there's just a lot of potential for someone that wants to, come in and make the place their own.
We can safely describe that as deferred maintenance.
Yes, there is a good amount of deferred maintenance opportunities for someone.
The good news there is that the state of North Carolina has a program to assist folks who are renovating historic homes. It's a tax credit program. Actually, it used to be a tax credit program. Now it's more of a rebate program. It would be a nice thing to look into for anybody interested in renovating your historic home.
Yeah, and I always intended once I retired to do exactly that. And now I am retired. I'm inclined to stay in town here. That's exactly what I'd be doing. But I've got the wild hair to go move off to the Pacific Northwest, so I'll let someone else have that fun.
We've established it's a great neighborhood in a great location in a great town, and it's a fine old unique home which needs a little TLC. I think that's about it. That wraps us up. Thank you, John, for sharing all of that with us. Best of luck on your new adventure.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
This is Paul Setliff with ERA Dream Living Realty, and you've been listening to a discussion with John Irwin about his home located at 311 West Park Drive in Raleigh's historic Cameron Park neighborhood.